All right, we're here with Legge, Legge, and Michelle Pozzie. It's
No,
open
it's
mic.
Ali Legge and Michelle Pozzie on Open Mic. Hi guys,
That's
how you
right.
guys doing?
I hope you guys are doing good. On this Thursday, we are going to have a packed day of discussing a lot of different things. Allie's actually in Washington, D.C., which I think is pretty cool. So occasionally you'll hear sirens in the
Cyrus.
background. It's very strange. We're going to get a look. Let's see, this morning, I think that's World Trade Center, right? It's kind of odd looking at that skyline,
I
what,
know.
for the last 20 some years, not seeing both buildings there. But yeah. All right. So, Allie, I'm glad that you're here joining us today. Um, I want to hear all
Glad to
about
be
your
here.
trip there to Washington, D.C. But first, let's hear a little bit from Hadass Levy. Red Hat stays on.
Take 'em back on freedom, back to where we started. We're wearing our red hat tonight. It takes more than just a feeling. Oh, better be believing in America's
You
gonna
never
be
know if tech things are going to work or
alright.
not.
I love it. That is such a good song.
It is a good song. Oh my gosh. While we're listening to the song, though, well, let me see if I can get this to work. You sent me something here. See if we can get this.
And if you don't know, Mac is here to say you do when they come for you. Freedom's what you gotta lose. Red hat stays
Who had their red hat on? Let me see if I can mute this.
Who did? So we
We had
need.
Mr. Mr. Biden had it on. Let's see if I can pull this up. Who runs, what was it you said? Who runs the comms over there at
I'm saying, or like, who are the staffers? Like, do they just not care anymore? What is going on? Michelle, show them. The best walk away in history.
I
That's
can't
what
even
that
with
is.
that. That is crazy. That just put that on the ballot right there. I mean, I
I
guess
mean,
maybe he's feeling a little free because he's not under the pull of establishment. He's off the ticket now. I don't know. That's very
look,
unaware.
when you have Trump tell Harris, she's adopting my philosophy. I was gonna send her a MAGA hat, and then the next day you see President Biden with a Trump 2024 hat on. It's wild times we live in.
It's the best. Oh my gosh.
No, but
Gosh.
seriously, do you have the other picture?
Oh my gosh, yes, let me get this one up.
You got to show that one because
Okay.
I know they're like trolling him, and it's kind of like it's a little but it's funny. It's funny. We have to
Let's see if
laugh in these
let's see
situations.
if I can get this one up here. Tell us what's happening here. Let's see. It's going to take a moment to
Okay,
load.
so it just normally looks like, you see President Biden standing in the middle, surrounded by a bunch of kids, because you want to kiss the babies and shake all the hands.
Sniff the
But if you
children.
look real close, you can see all the kids have like Trump shirts on. I'm back,
Oh
MAGA.
my
Like it's all
gosh.
insane. So, and I'm sitting here wondering, where are his comms? Like, who is in charge of making sure that he does not look like a fool? That's the
Oh
whole
my
point
gosh.
of having staffers.
Somebody get, and
So,
he's the sitting president. So it's not like
yeah.
this is a gaffe on the part of a campaign. This is the leader of the free world. Oh my
Oh my!
gosh. This is
It was
crazy.
really interesting to see that. I was like, oh my gosh, you cannot. And
Oh
because people are
gosh.
like, oh, it's so fake, it's AI. It's definitely
No,
not.
that's the Kamala Harris ticket. That's AI everything. So tell me, Allie, what have you been doing? What have you been up to there in
So what
DC? I know
we've
you're there
been
with Moms for
doing,
America. Go ahead.
yeah, what we've been doing here is we're advocating against the Eats Act. It's a part of the Farm Bill. Essentially, what it's doing is it's attacking three points, right? Like so, they've done the lobbyist that we're working with has done about 4 fly-ins on the Farm Bill. This is the third time it's come up. It comes up every 5 years, and they've defeated it twice, and we're going round 3, right? So they
Wow.
had farmers come up, and when they come up, they have to leave their farms. They're very disgruntled, so they come up in all their garb, and they're walking the halls of Congress with their cowboy boots and their jeans and their shirts and their cowboy hats, and they're just angry and upset because they're like, all the staffers are like 20 years old, and so they're sitting there like nobody is really taking into consideration how we're feeling.
Yeah.
So they're just disgruntled. So the idea was they called the moms and they're like, moms, we need some help. And so we did a little bit of research into into the EATS Act, and essentially what we're doing is we're coming up here to give our congressmen and our senators the mom's perspective of how the EATS Act affects us personally. So there's 3 points. It's all about sovereignty. That's the umbrella, but
Right.
individual sovereignty. So it's choice. Moms are paying attention to what foods we're buying, what ingredients are in the foods, because we want to make sure that we're giving our children the best products on the market, to make sure that they are healthy and that they are not lifelong consumers of the pharma cartel. Now, when you have 4 companies that have a monopoly on the pork industry, and Smithfield is the largest, one of the largest companies, they are actively lobbying for the EATS Act, but they are owned by the CCP. So not only are they owned
Unbelievable.
by a foreign country, they are owned by a foreign communist country, which is completely antithetical to everything American. And so not only
How
does
many
it
people know this? This isn't
not many people, right? I didn't know. And so when I was doing the research, I was like, Smithfield is owned by China? What?
fabulous.
Right. And so their practices over there are not the same as over here. We have stricter laws and stricter regulations for our farmers here than they do overseas. And so not only is this a problem when it comes to choice, right? Because parent choice is freedom. We want to make sure that we're able to choose what foods we're buying, and paying attention to where they're coming from, but also it's a money issue, right? So when you have another country that owns something that's here, or they're importing food from another country, we have to pay those import fees. Now, I don't know if everybody's been paying attention, but we are in a silent recession. So there are families who can't afford regular groceries. They can't afford, to pay their rent or their gas. And so to pay extra fees seems a little crazy, right? But also, it kind of takes away that local action because it's a federal bill, and because it's a different country that owns this company that wants the farmland. Our moms cannot afford to come up here and talk to our congressman about local issues. That doesn't make any sense. Completely violate the 10th Amendment. So that brings me to the second point. The second point is state sovereignty. Now, the EATS Act is going to essentially it's like taking a sledgehammer to an ant when it comes to state rights.
My gosh.
Already state laws that protect our farmlands, or that regulate our farmlands on a local level. But when something passes federally, it overrides the state. And so again, the 10th Amendment, again, our farmers cannot afford to come up here to speak to congressmen about local issues. They want to be able to speak to representatives about what is going on there, and there's generational farmers, right? And so having another country own farmland is
like
wild.
It kind of blows my mind a little bit, because we've talked about this in the state of Florida. DeSantis has gone out on a ledge, and our legislators have too, to say that farmland is not owned by the CCP any, they're considered hostile basically. But that's not what you're telling me, and I don't pay attention to this federally because I'm free state of Florida. That's why I don't worry about federal. But you have to think about it. When you go to the grocery store and you turn over the label on that package, it's not like I'm buying ham from Florida. So it should matter to us who's owning our farmland nationally. Are you saying not only some of our food companies, but farmland can be owned here in the United States by foreign adversaries?
That also brings me to my last point, which is national sovereignty. It's a national security issue when you have a foreign country purchasing land for any reason on American soil. It's especially a communist country. It's antithetical to everything American. Why are we not making sure that Americans own American land? Especially our farmland, because our farms are supposed to feed our local communities. And yes, I understand at the end of it, it's about, the bottom dollar, and you want to be able, if you have a farm in Idaho, you want to be able to sell it to California. Like, that's great. However, you have to make sure that there are protections for these generational farmers, because these smaller farms are going to end up being bought out by bigger corporations, and that turns into a monopoly. And last time I checked, we had laws on the books that say that we cannot have monopolies. And I don't
Oh,
know.
wow.
I know that our audience understands, but maybe some of them don't. But if you look at the history of communism, before they come after your guns, or they come after your right to naturally protect yourself, or they come after your kids to indoctrinate
Mm,
them and make them slaves to their own ideology, they
yes.
will control the food. And when you control the food, you control the people. And that is what is happening here. And last time I checked, 1776, we said no more tyranny. So what exactly are we doing? And every time I go into an office and I speak to a representative or their
Yes.
staff, I said, your proper role and responsibility is to first and foremost make sure that you are protecting the constitutionally codified rights of our natural rights for one, our states, two, our nation, three, our individuals. If you are not doing that and you are actively trying to sell our land to a different country, you are in violation of your oath of office, and you
It's
should be removed.
treasonous. Absolutely,
Absolutely.
it's treasonous. So how is that being perceived there? Like, how are you being I'm guessing it's split down the party line, but
Well, no, I think people that understand, we're making a big difference being up here because not everybody understands the mom perspective. Like, in every
mhm,
issue is a mom issue. Every
yeah,
issue is a mom issue.
moms
Because
live politics every day.
we all live politics every day. So for
Every day,
someone to
yep.
say, "Well, I just don't do politics," that's ridiculous, because every
Yes,
single law that's passed touches you. It's all political.
right.
And so it, we're making a big difference here. We've actually swayed a couple people from supporting it. We've actually gotten a lot of open, wide eyes. Like, I didn't know that that was really going on. I didn't know
Good,
that that was in the bill. Now, the farm bill is huge. There's so many
good.
different points, so many different things in this bill that are a problem. But we're making a big difference here, and we're being received pretty well. And then we're even being asked to support other issues that are near and dear to the representatives' hearts that we've talked to. So
Good,
um,
good.
it's been
Mom's making
helpful.
a difference. I love it.
Absolutely.
You mentioned turning a country communist and controlling the food. I'm so glad that you mentioned that because just a few days ago during the debate, I noticed they didn't really push Kamala on some of her some of her points that she has come out publicly and said over the last 3 or 4 years, things like a mandatory gun buyback program. So I'm
Oh
looking,
yeah.
you think of Mao's China, right? Other communist regimes. You think about Brazil, some of the things anybody we're from Florida, so even our
Brazil,
wonderful
Venezuela. It's
Cuba,
Mao, Stalin, Hitler.
Lenin,
And now
this
we
is what
have
they did.
Venezuela and Brazil.
That's right. This is so, the wonderful fact checkers that were the moderators the night of the debate, they failed this, but I actually want to show you. We did find the video. Listen, it's a short video. Listen to Kamala out of her own words.
What would you do about the millions of specifically assault weapons that are already in circulation? What do you do about those?
Well, there are approximately 5 million, to your point, Greg. We have to have a buyback program, and I support a mandatory buyback program. It's got to be smart. We got to do it the right way.
Mandatory buyback. I hear that as gun confiscation. I don't know about you.
It is 100%. What I mean, what are we
Mandatory.
even talking about? Like, this is, and so what they're failing, and it's not even something that they're intentionally failing to recognize. I think it's all on purpose. They know what they're doing, but
Right.
it's never the weapon. It's always the intent behind the weapon. So that's why we have, intent during murder cases or trials. Like, is
Right.
it what was the intent? Is it accidental? Is it involuntary? Is it voluntary? There are very different definitions for those things. And so when you take away someone's individual God-given natural right to protect themselves, you're allowing criminals who don't abide by the law to just completely run rampant. I mean, you see that in where is that, Ohio or Colorado or wherever it is, where they've taken over apartment buildings and
Well, Ohio, I think
hotel hallways.
Chicago, yeah,
I mean,
Colorado.
there's carjackings all over the place, and sometimes it's not even with a weapon. I mean, a gun. Sometimes it's
Yes.
with, a machete, or a taser, or something crazy. Like,
Well,
anything can be a weapon.
you look at the UK, and this is exactly what they're going through, right? Because years of open border policies have completely changed the makeup of Europe, and they're not having extreme gun violence. It's
Right.
machetes, it's knives, it's vehicles.
Yep.
Evil will use whatever they can get their hands on. I
Exactly.
wonder, Allie, with your your unique role as the director of civic engagement for Moms for America, do you find the same thing that I'm now starting to find? I've been finding this for the last couple of years, that we are so bogged down with our day-to-day life, mostly as moms or parents. Most people holding 2 jobs in Biden's America right now, that we're just not. I wouldn't normally pay attention to this. This is the reason why we have shows like Open Mic, because we're able to 30 minutes download some crazy things that are going on so that you, the American people, can be aware. But is this what you're finding too in your capacity with Moms for America? That people are unaware?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is. That's something that, especially with the EATS Act. So we have a podcast with Moms for America. It's called the Moms for America podcast. We had one of the lobbyists that we're working with come on the show and discuss the EATS Act with our moms. That was the most viewed podcast in months that we've had. And ever since that came out, we have been inundated with moms asking questions, wanting to be involved. How can we help? Who can we call? What can we do? Are we going to boycott? Because I mean, we're over 500,000 moms. 500,000. Our network is 500,000.
That's amazing.
Can you imagine the insane amount of people, like phone lines we can cut, we can block just by activating our mamas? It is insane. So yeah, I mean, when you don't know what you don't know, and if you're not paying attention, you just don't know.
Right.
But when you know, you have to make different decisions. So.
And I think they bank on that, Allie. I think they bank that a lot of us are extremely busy with our lives, and that's by intent and by design.
I mean, both of us were, right? And now look at us.
One school board meeting, and they're like, damn, I wish we could just go back and take her out of there. Those darn domestic terrorist moms. What do they think they're doing?
One city council meeting, and it's like, what? This is not how this is supposed to work.
The sheep are awake. No, just kidding. Oh gosh.
Yeah, for sure.
And a perfect example is the debate the other night. I listened. If I just took my political hat off and thought that I was just, somebody tuning in after work, long day at work, kids are asleep, I'm tuning in to the debate, with the way that Kamala almost, she's got that Obama quality to really BS with a straight face. And nobody fact checked her live right there during the debate like they did Trump. So I find it easy and fun, quite honestly, to have to do fact check some of these topics because first of all, did you know the one moderator, and I'll show this video later, but the one moderator, I guess, is a sorority sister of Kamala Harris. Is that true?
Yes, it is.
Oh my gosh, they're multiplying.
It's just
well, so they didn't fact check the fact that there are, in fact, third-term abortions throughout the United States. She said that just simply wasn't happening. That's what Kamala Harris said. So if you take a look here.
How many states is that? 13?
Well, so honestly, this is what freaked me out. Washington, D.C., as well as 9 other states in the United States, have no restrictions on abortion. That's what you're seeing right now in blue. No restrictions on abortion. This is because obviously the post-Dobbs decision, sent it back to the states. You've got 18 states, Allie, that allow for abortion. So that's actually that's the third-term abortion right there. The 9 states. You've got 18 states that allow it up to 5 months, which a lot of people consider 5 months to be gestation. The fetus can survive outside the womb if given the proper care.
Right.
So it's happening. It's happening.
And like I said, I think it was yesterday I mentioned this. It's not even about, religiosity, right? Yeah, it comes from that. But I think we as conservatives, we need to be better with our messaging. It's not about really just religiosity, because not everybody is religious. Right. Not everybody has the same viewpoints, but it is about our birth rate. So our birth rate is almost below 2%, and you cannot repopulate a nation with a birth rate below 2%.
So true.
It's just not. It's not possible. That's why China is having the problems that they're having. Yeah. Because everyone is dying out, and that's why they're trying to expand into other countries. It's just math. It's really all it is.
And I think we said it before earlier this week on the show. We are the carbon footprint that they're trying to remove, and you see it with even the sterilization of our young people.
You can't repopulate, and they're trying to downsize our population, and that's just a way to do it. It is a way to do it. and they're using it as like, oh, but it's a choice, it's my body, my choice, but the DNA of the baby is not yours. It's not the same. It's not the same DNA.
I had this debate with somebody the other day.
You're breathing, huh?
I had this debate with somebody the other day
Yeah.
that, my body, my choice. I thought, first of all, where was that when you wanted to stick a needle in my arm?
Exactly. Or
But
put a mask over my face.
absolutely,
Or tell me
or
that I
our
had to
children's
stand
face
6 feet.
in school, absolutely. But
Or tell me that I couldn't go shopping to feed myself.
Mm.
Or that I couldn't go to work to feed my family.
Well, let's be fair, though. Target, I think, stayed open, and Walmart, because the virus didn't. If as long as you stood 6 feet apart, the virus didn't.
But that's another thing that really bothers me about that is like they'll blame Trump for that. Trump had no say in shutting down anywhere. That was governors and local municipalities.
And it was the public-private partnerships where, like Biden said, I don't have to do the dirty work. I'll make the corporations do it, because I can distinctly remember being in the free state of Florida, no masks anywhere, going in to get my eyes examined at an optometrist. And I won't name the company here, America's Best Eyeglass Wear, but I walked in and she handed me a mask and I said, I'm not wearing that. I don't have to wear that. She said, oh no, it's company policy.
It's company policy.
There you go.
But that's the same thing that the CDC does. It's like, oh, but we just recommended it. It's not a mandate. It's just recommended.
It's so frustrating.
It's the same thing.
It is so frustrating. So I heard actually this news was breaking out of Washington D.C. I know you've been so busy, so
oh my gosh,
I know
I haven't even been able to look at it, but I'm so excited.
But the U.S. House Ways and Means Committee has passed, I think it was 23-16, which is alarming that 16 Republicans couldn't get on board with this, but we won't go there today. A nationwide school choice that, according to our representatives, is not going to have to rely on the U.S. Department of Education to either disperse funds or to moderate it, which is great, because I feel like they're laying the blueprint for no DOE, which would be great. What do you think about this? And I want to know, because I know you've homeschooled in the past. I homeschooled. I hear from a lot of homeschool families. I know we talked to Sam Sorbo here on Patriot TV a lot about this. A lot of homeschool families still don't want that government footprint in their homes. When you take that, that income, that tax money from whether it's a scholarship or however the states are offering it, when you take that in, there are certain repercussions. You have to test. There's certain things that they can say about the curriculum. Do you think this is going to open the door to school-wide, nationwide school choice, or do you think it could cause more issues?
I mean, with all of these, it's really you have to just really pay attention and know what your rights are. For example, here I want to say here in Florida, although that's not where I am currently, but here in Florida, we do have the voucher program, but there are some these it's the companies that are providing the voucher are limiting specific curriculum that our parents can use if they homeschool, and that is a direct attack, it feels like, on homeschoolers and on choice, when it was sold to us that we had full choice on what we were going to be able to teach our children. So a lot of the homeschooling families are like, we don't want any parts of this, just leave us alone. Just don't take the money then. Don't take the voucher, right? But there are a lot of families that can't afford to be a stay-at-home, teacher for their children.
Right.
So we're struggling between, do I send my child to an indoctrination camp where you send them to Caesar and you can't expect them to not come home as Romans. That's literally what is going on, because you can't protect them from everything while they're there. You can only inoculate them so much from the indoctrination that's happening, but you have to be an active parent, and that's difficult, especially if you're working one or more than one job. But even as a homeschooler, you're stuck with, well, if I'm homeschooling, I have to stay home, right? Because if I go to work, not only are my kids being indoctrinated, but my money's being used to fund other countries. It's being used on things that don't make any sense to me, that aren't protecting me, my interests, or my country. So it's like, what am I supposed to do with this? If I stay home, then I don't have any money. And it's like, how am I supposed to
catch-22?
Yes. And it's like, it is. It's death by 1,000 cuts. And we just really don't know which way to go. And so it's like, what the hell are we supposed to do? Although I am excited that they're not, relying on funds from or relying on the Department of Education, because I think that needs to go away. It's $60 billion that does not help any single person. All it's
All
done is
administration.
feed teachers unions that are activists, and they don't have the best interests of our teachers, and they don't have the best interests of our children or our
Right.
education, obviously, because we have 80%, 86% of our Black students in 4th grade are not proficient in math, reading, or
Dear God.
comprehension.
Wow.
So
That's amazing, Allie. That's
return
so
on
sad.
investment.
That's so
Return
sad.
on
Absolutely.
investment.
What would you do in any other business? With any other business model, you would cut it off because it's not working.
I do want to provide some hope, though. I was able to speak with Representative Sparks. I can't remember what state she's from. It escapes me right now. We've had 80 meetings over 3 days, so I'm a little. It's a lot, but it's literally it's a meeting every 30 minutes, and then you have to walk like 15 minutes to each building. It's insane. But
I'm so glad you're getting in their ear, though.
Yeah, but what she said to me was, I am so glad you guys are here because moms are going to save this republic.
Amen. Amen.
That is hope right there.
Amen.
And
They
it
can.
gives me chills,
The
like, I
intelligence
get
communities can
teary-eyed.
call us homegrown terrorists all they want. We don't care. We're not going anywhere. I'm so glad that you're there doing that as well. Before we wrap it up, I do want to give our viewers just a little peek at this is, I think they've already come out of the capsule. So, and of course,
Oh yeah,
technical
this
difficulties
is so cool.
yeah, there. Let me see if I can restart it. Yep. So I don't know. This is the Dragon capsule through SpaceX. So way to go, Elon. Sending
Oh,
this.
Elon.
This is sending. I
Their
think this is
suits
as
look
far
really
out.
cool, by the way.
This is sending them. I think this is as far out as we've been since, what was it, Apollo?
Apollo, yeah.
Yeah.
That
This is pretty
so
amazing.
Cool.
Pretty amazing. So I don't know. Who knows what we'll be doing in another 5 years. I actually thought when I was a kid that by 2024 we'd be operating flying cars, and we ended up standing 6 feet apart. So it was
right. Absolutely
it was
wild.
very telling. Very telling. So what's on your agenda today? I know we've only got about a minute left.
I have a couple meetings today. I have a movie premiere that I'm going to, God's Not Dead, starring Isaiah Washington. I think he's starring in it.
Yes.
He's in the movie. I know he's in the movie.
Yes.
And he's helped direct it. So I'll be hanging out with him tonight.
We want pictures, Allie.
It's here at the Capitol, so I was invited. I'm really excited to go.
Nice.
First movie premiere I've been to on this scale. But it's conservative led. CPAC is like leading the way with that, and
yes.
it's really awesome. So I'm excited. I have some more meetings today, and then I come home on Friday. So I'm excited. But I do want you guys to know we are less than 60 days from the election. You guys,
yes,
make sure that you are registered to vote. Go double check to make sure that you're registered.
Yes.
Get out.
And I'm telling you,
neighbors.
Do not rely on your local Republican Party.
Yeah,
I don't know where you're at, but in Florida, even guys, it's each man for himself and each woman for himself. So make sure that you're getting out there, spreading the word. Bring 10 different people with you to the voting locations. Make some trips in your neighborhood. We're gonna sign off. This is Allie, real Allie Legge, Michelle Pozzie for Open Mic with Allie and Michelle. We'll see you next time. Have a good day.
Bye, guys.